Did you know that sweating in summer, shivering in winter, and seeing frogs in the rain and not in summer or winter are all responses to changing abiotic factors? Ever since organisms have come into existence on our planet, they have been evolving to survive better and reproduce in their habitats. However, the abiotic conditions of many habitats are never constant and keep changing significantly with time. These changes in abiotic conditions also affect the organisms living in that particular habitat. To sustain life, many species, through a process called homeostasis, try to maintain the constancy of their internal environment. Homeostasis is defined as a physiological process by which an organism regulates its internal environment in response to the fluctuating external environment. Although organisms achieve homeostasis through physiological means, it can also be achieved through artificial means, which is best seen in human beings. Consider that you can study well when the temperature is around 25 degrees Celsius. But in summer, the heat makes you lethargic and hence you are unable to concentrate. By simply using an air conditioner or a cooler, you can make your external environment pleasant so that you can perform better. Such artificial means do not exist for animals and plants in nature. So, how do they cope with such adverse situations? There are various ways by which organisms can respond to adverse external environments. They can regulate, conform, migrate, hibernate, estivate, or suspend themselves under such circumstances. Let's take a look at each situation. Organisms that are capable of maintaining homeostasis by physiological or behavioral means are called regulators. The mechanism by which organisms regulate their constant body temperature, irrespective of the external temperature, is called thermoregulation. Similarly, the mechanism by which organisms regulate a constant osmotic concentration, irrespective of the external osmotic concentration, is called osmoregulation. A few lower invertebrates and vertebrate species, along with birds and mammals, are capable of regulation. For instance, human beings are capable of regulating their body temperature and maintaining it at 37 degrees Celsius. For example, in summer, when the external temperature is more than our body temperature, we perspire a lot. This results in evaporative cooling, which lowers our body temperature. Likewise, in winter, when the external temperature is much lower than our body temperature, we shiver. Shivering generates heat and raises our body temperature. Such a mechanism is seen in mammals, but is absent in plants. Evolutionary biologists believe that the success of mammals is greatly due to their ability to maintain a constant body temperature, which enables them to survive in extreme climates. Some organisms that are unable to regulate their internal environment may partially regulate their internal environment or conform to external conditions. These organisms are known as conformers. Studies show that almost 99% of animals and nearly all plants belong to this category. the body temperature of such organisms changes according to the ambient temperature. Similarly, in the case of aquatic organisms, their osmotic concentration changes according to the ambient water osmotic concentration. Although maintaining a constant internal environment has advantages, conformers did not evolve into regulators. The reason is that processes like thermoregulation and osmoregulation consume a lot of energy, particularly in small animals, where heat loss or heat gain is a function of the surface area. Such animals have a larger surface area compared to their volume, and so they tend to lose their body heat very quickly when the outside temperature is low. Moreover, they consume a lot of energy to generate body heat, and this is why you rarely find small animals in the polar regions. Interestingly, during the course of evolution, the costs and benefits of maintaining a constant internal environment were taken into consideration, and thus some organisms have evolved to become regulators, while others have remained conformers. Sometimes, stressful external conditions may be localized or have a short duration. In such situations, organisms may migrate, hibernate, estivate, or suspend to survive. Particularly during winter, you may have read about or witnessed the arrival of migratory birds such as the greater flamingo, Siberian cranes, and northern shoveler from Siberia and other cold northern regions to the famous Keoladio National Park in Bharatpur in Rajasthan. Similarly, in Europe too, people staying high up in the Alps come down to the valleys during winter. Migration is seen in animals that are capable of moving from stressful environmental conditions to a place that offers a favorable climate. But what about animals that are unable to migrate? Such animals are likely to cope with the unfavorable conditions by undergoing hibernation during winter to preserve energy and estivation in summer to avoid heat-related problems and desiccation. Interestingly, many zooplanktons in lakes and ponds are known to enter diapause, a state of suspended development during unfavorable conditions. Although these mechanisms are seen in animals, plants too show various responses to stressful external conditions. They usually suspend themselves in unfavorable conditions. In the case of bacteria, fungi, and lower plants, thick-walled spores are produced, which help them survive in unfavorable conditions and germinate in favorable conditions. Similarly, in higher plants, seeds and other vegetative reproductive structures are produced, which help overcome stressful periods besides helping in dispersal. This is done by reducing their metabolic activity and undergoing a dormancy period. In favorable conditions, these seeds and vegetative reproductive structures germinate to form new plants. In this way, we see that to respond to stressful abiotic conditions, various organisms regulate, conform, migrate, hibernate, estivate, or suspend themselves.